Hello and welcome to the Carnegie Innovative Series. My name is Lawrence Mba and I'm a consultant in strategy and business growth. Today's topic is stress management and time management. So let's start with an attempt at defining what stress is. In a very short form, stress, in my view, is the gap between what our expectation is and what our reality is. So the wider the gap, the bigger the stress level that we have to deal with. When this gap is narrower, it means that the stress level is smaller. Stress has also been defined as a feeling of tension or a reaction to a demand or a challenge, which means therefore that stress can be positive and can be negative. Positive stress is actually motivational. The adrenaline rush oftentimes experienced by athletes and sportsmen just before they run onto the field of play with enough verve to make a difference. On the converse side, when stress is negative, it's bad, it's unhealthy, and it's pretty risky, not good for our health at all. Let's try and go through a few causes of stress. The major stressor that most people experience, adults, in their working career, in their working life, is about their jobs. As a matter of fact, about 6% or so of stress is said to be work-related. This therefore covers such areas as, having to work very stressful jobs with very high demands and very short deadlines. Some very stressful jobs include, but are not limited to, combat helicopter pilots, fishermen who fish on the huge fishing trawlers on very turbulent waters. Also, firefighters are rated as having a very stressful job. There are tons of other jobs that are stressful. Another contributor to work stress is environment. The ambience, if it's not good, if it's not conducive, if it's not clement enough, you work under a lot of pressure. It gets worse when you have a boss who is breathing down your neck, and then you also have colleagues that you don't seem to get on with. Knowing that we spend upwards of 8 to 9 hours every day at our jobs pre-COVID, it means that to work 8 or 9 hours every day of your life in an environment that you don't feel good having to be in really stresses you out. Commuting back and forth to work in high traffic, risky roads can also add to the stresses that we go through. Now, an additional work-related stress is the issue of attrition, the fear of being fired. It's bad enough that most people have to be forced to make a choice between the families they love and the jobs that they need. Now, when someone therefore threatens you with lack of continuity of that job and therefore throwing you into a port of financial insufficiency, it definitely adds to your stress. Now, wait for the big one. COVID-19. We are dealing with a monster, and a few people have lost loved ones. Very sad. But it's even worse having to lose a loved one and not having time for closure. Okay, now imagine the scenario I was trying to paint earlier, where the job you do is very stressful and now is compounded by the loss of a loved one due to COVID. And in most cases, when people die during COVID, their surviving family members and loved ones don't get an opportunity to say bye-bye. Because of the highly contagious nature of this virus, a couple of the bodies are cremated and the ashes disposed of, not even given to the people so they can have some healing. Talk of stress, it doesn't get any worse than this. Some other stressors known by the world are having to relocate. Moving houses is very stressful. It's been listed as one of the top 3 in the world. And now having to move houses across continents. You pack your luggage, you move family members, you leave your homeland and go to a new land to start life greenfield. And now having to make new friends and get used to the environment, it can be quite hellish. Trust me, I've been there, I know what it's like. It's not fun at all. Trust me on this. Health challenges are another stressor. Some of these include major critical illnesses which are life-altering or severe physical disabilities. I already mentioned the challenge with having to panic about whether we still have our jobs or we do not. So these are, a couple of the stressors that we go through in life. Now, I need to mention that we all react differently to stress. So what are the other ways to cope with stress? What are the mechanisms? It's been proven with times without number that spirituality is very fundamental. For those who believe in the existence of a superior being, like I do, you try and do your utmost best and then hand it over to the Almighty to do His part. Then your mental state and development is key. Fitness cannot be treated lightly as part of the stress mitigator. It's been known that people who are fit respond faster to injuries. They recover faster. As a matter of fact, the fitter you are, the higher the fighting chance to fend off a couple of illnesses. But even when those illnesses come, you recover much faster. So it's important to keep fit as part of having to deal with and manage stress. Lives, choices, and their consequences are another way to deal with stress. We all must understand that a couple of decisions that we make live with us all through life. Often we say to people that when you make lifelong decisions that are critical, please don't let your heart rule your head. Do the reverse instead. Let your head rule your heart. Who do you surround yourself with? Who are your mentors? Who are your coaches? What family support have you got? What relationships have you got? All of this help with managing stress. I didn't mention that one major stressor is relationships. Divorces, having to have kids or raise kids, marriages, major stress. If you made a bad choice in that divide, you're toast, trust me. So another way to also deal with stress is to accept that life sure will happen. And so you've got to plan ahead as much as you can and have contingency and remediation plans just in case life throws you a curveball. And when that happens, then you know you've done your best. We've now looked at a couple of things about how to manage stress. Part of spirituality reminds me of the serenity prayer that goes this way, that God should grant me the serenity to accept the things that I cannot change. God should also grant me the courage to change the ones that I can, and above all, the wisdom to know the difference. So that's it about stress and stress management. Now about time, I'm going to try and compress this into what I call life quadrants. There are some things in life that are urgent but not important. There are those that are important but not urgent. So when we have things, I put them into four quadrants. The original person that came up with this matrix was Eisenhower. Then later, Steve Covey helped popularize it. I call it life's quadrant. Some things in life are urgent but not important. Some things in life are both important and urgent. And I'm going to try and illustrate this. If I'm going for a meeting and the gas in my car is at a water level, it's important that I put gas in the car, but it's not very urgent. If the distance I'm going to cover is not so far away. But if I'm in course of that movement and I have a flat tire, everything changes. Right there, urgency and importance meet. And so I've got to find a way to deal with that situation. So this is how we must look at life. We must compartmentalize life's issues. There are some things that we must do and do at once. There are those that we've got to plan for. There are some that we have to delegate. Someone else can handle them. And there are some that we just eliminate. Total zilch. So I thank you really for listening to me today. And so let's also always remind ourselves that stress does happen, but how we manage it is what makes a difference into how we get on. Thank you very kindly again for listening to me today. Please remember to keep the feedback coming. Our social media platforms are as follows. On Twitter, we are Carnegie Solutions, one word. On Instagram, we are Carnegie_Solutions, one. Facebook is Carnegie_Solutions. Our website is active, www.carnegie-solutions.com. We're on YouTube, that's where I am reaching you from right now. Just type Carnegie Innovative Solutions and it pops up. Please remember to subscribe and to put some feedback, and don't keep the knowledge to yourself. Knowledge is the gift that keeps on giving, so share the information with people. Thank you. God bless you. Remember, COVID is real. Stay safe, stay aware. Bye-bye now. Thank you.